Hi everyone, welcome along another one of our videos on plumbing. Been asked about leaks under washhand basins and sinks. The kind of leaks you get where you've got two separate taps. So if you've got monoblock mixers, this is not about that. This is about two separate taps in your sink, and one of them is leaking underneath and running down the pipe onto the floor. Now there's a couple of things that could be. It could be just the seal of the tap itself in the basin is loose, and I've got a video on tightening up the taps and even putting a rubber washer on if that's the case. But 9 times out of 10 it isn't that. You've got a constant leak and it's coming from under the tap. So when you look under there, all you see is water coming down the pipe. And you think, where the hell is that coming from, and how do I fix it? Well, I'm going to show you. First of all, coming over with this little drawing I've done here on the table. Now I've done a rough sort of schematic of a basin. Now when you've got your taps through your basin or your sink, it could be your kitchen sink, you have a back nut that does the tap up into the sink. Then you have what's called a swivel washer, a swivel connector, get it right, huh? Okay, and this is it here. The pipe goes in the bottom of it, and on the top of it it's the swivel nut itself, and there's a little washer under there. Okay, and a lot of times what happens is that washer wears away, and then the water runs down this pipe and comes down and drops off on the floor. And usually it is always that washer there that's gone. Very rarely the pipe cone and olive in there. Very, very rare. It's always under here. Now, as I said before, if the tap is loose, there is possible that water could come down the top of the basin on the floor, but you get such a small amount and you'd only get it when you run the tap, so you would know if that was the case. Okay, but so we're going to look at this swivel nut and washer, and I'm going to show you now the actual tap. So if you want to come away from the drawing, and this is basically what you've got. So here is a basin tap, and you can imagine it's sat in your basin, and there's the back nut of the tap. So when you look up at it, you just see this nut and this nut holding it onto the basin. This will be the one. This is the swivel connector that will be leaking. Now obviously, to undo these sort of things, you need something a bit special, because unless that nut is far enough down for you to get an ordinary spanner on, a lot of times this is so far underneath you can't get on there, and you're going to need one of these. This is called a Basin Spanner to undo it, and you can see why, because it's special. You know, it goes around a nut like so, and enables you to get up in a small space to do it or undo it. In that case, that's doing it up. You turn it over that way, and that way is undoing it by flicking it around the bottom of the nut like so. But it's good with me showing you it like that, but like that, and undoing the nut. Okay, so you do need a special tool, and that is the only thing with doing this job. But what you've got, when you undo this swivel connector, you'll see that what you've got is a little washer there. You see that? Now that washer pops off. Now a lot of times that will be gone. That washer will be all disintegrated, and we'll need a new washer. So 5p washer from the plumber's merchants, put it on there and redo it back up onto your tap. Okay, now the other thing, if the pipe is stiff and solid and it's got no movement, so that when you've undone it you find it is tight like that and you can't get the pipe away, then it'd be better for you to undo the actual tap. Undo it about half dozen threads so that it will lift up in the basin and pull clear the swivel. So if you imagine you can undo that, and you can pull it away, you can take the tap right out if you want to, and then you'll have a gap that will enable you to get the washer on. Once you've got the washer on, you can redo it back up, and that's it, job done. Alright, so to show you how what the actual job is now, I'm going to flick you over to a video I've done earlier where I'm actually taking one of these taps off the connector and putting another washer on, and you'll see how it's done. So I'll show you that now. It's a little basin, it is a bit tight. Now there's our joints up underneath there, and these are the ones we've got to get undone. Okay, now this job is impossible without one of these. This is a Basin Spanner, and it really is a must, and I'll show you for why, because I'll get the spanner on the nut and you'll be able to see exactly what I mean, why you need one of these to undo it. So I'll just do that for you. Okay, I'm laying the camera down here just so you can see that there is our spanner. It's got to go up on a nut on the back of there. Now this side is too awkward to get on, so I'm going to have to go around the back of there like so and get that on that nut there. Now I'm going to hold the camera up to it so you can see it. I'll try and lighten it up. Can you see where the spanner is on that nut? And that's where it's got to go to undo it, like so. Okay, I've just broken it and cracked it already, so I've already made it loose. But that's where the spanner's got to go. And once that's off, then you'll see a further nut holding the basin tap in place. So I'll undo this one. I'll put the camera back down there. I don't know if it's seen anything down there. Okay, and that one is off. And I'll just show the spanner up there now. You can see it's up there on the nut. And I'm sorry it's a bit dark up under there, but I'll try and lighten it a bit so you can see it. And you can see how the spanner goes around that nut to do it up. And that's all there is to it. I need 2 hands, so I'm going to put the camera down just to finish tightening it up. And that really will be it. Once that's tightened up, we can turn the water back on and those 2 taps are done. And done.